The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the All Smiling Faces podcast on the GallowgateShots YouTube channel. It is your Monday night live show. First of all, I'm going to start with the happy news. It's Besty's birthday.
Is that happy,
is it? Yeah, I didn't know.
Besty's
Sorry,
birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, man.
You
You want to see how many frigging balloons are out in that corridor? Jesus. We're lucky we got in the room.
put something
31.
on your t-shirt by looks.
Chris Wood out there, like. Do you not get that?
No, I got that. The
Did you
night,
get that
yeah,
one?
the night wrist.
Oh,
Night
sure,
wrist
I'm off
the
then.
balloons. 44.
Let's get the negatives.
Mike's Mark was sitting here, and then Mike didn't work in last week. Last week when I wasn't here.
Yeah.
Hey, that was hilarious, wasn't
Well, of course, like we didn't think of beforehand.
Yeah.
The worst person to put in that seat,
it? Yeah,
and it was Mark.
The
I
fiddler.
don't know. How am I
Because
to
you
blame
probably
for
touched
that?
it at some point, haven't
Well, I
you?
mean, I would have moved it close
Yeah,
to
yeah.
my mouth,
Yeah,
but
because I was
That's what she said.
away obviously, and I thought I'll put it on when I'm having a can before I go out, and then I put it on, and you were chatting away, and Mark started talking.
We did it on purpose.
yeah, I was like, gave some unbelievable tactical
I
insights.
bet you did, man.
But let's get straight into it. Newcastle United are at the hands of another home defeat. This time it's Everton that win 3-2 in, I'm going to say, a shambolic defensive approach. Approach is probably not the word I'm looking for, but it's just a shambles at the back
Right
from
across
start
the
to
pitch. I don't
finish.
think anyone except for maybe Hall and Tonali came out of it with a great deal of credit, to be honest with you.
Great.
And yet, you score 2 goals at home, you should win a game. You know, 2 goals and their keeper probably pulls off save the season. It's the problem we have is the defence at the minute. We're conceding. We've made the point last week, or the week before, the amount of goals we conceded, how long we've gone without a clean sheet, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop. It's horrible at the back. So many mistakes at the back. At the minute.
It feels like this throughout the season quite often like that. We have obviously purple patches where we're, you beat a few teams, and obviously we beat Spurs away, which seemed a huge moment, and I was so happy in that week that we had. But Spurs are 17th or whatever it is for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And again, it's sloppy mistakes. I would say Howe's also to blame with the team selection, which I think he knew he got wrong and changed bits what he could as the game was progressing. But I hate to say it, but we'll look like a team that's 13th to 12th. Like, but just that's what we look like. The level of mistakes, man, are shocking. And I know Pickford pulled off arguably one of the best saves ever, right? It was incredible. But again, I can't remember him making another one. And I don't mean to be awful.
He was never tested.
He never got
didn't.
tested?
No.
We never looked like scoring. Them never looked like scoring, and they scored 3. Them doing nothing either.
And the crossbar
They
as
scored
well.
3 goals. Like, it's just
It's individual errors, isn't it? That kind of leading into it. Obviously, I mean, I know he's showing defensive errors, but the last one stems from striker stroke midfield, doesn't it? And then kind of goes from there. Obviously, we know what happens with the goalkeeping situation.
Oh, the third one was he fell on the ball, didn't he? Hall hacked him, he fell on the ball, hit his arse and went in.
well,
But
Gordon
that
loses
was
it.
from
though.
the centre of the park, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, well, that was Gordon.
Gordon
for that
twisting and turning as usual, got anyway.
But that happened all through. It wasn't just Willock did it loads when he came on. The amount of extra touches on the ball and kind of ponderous in the middle. And Everton, I mean, they've gone so many to 5 now without defeating them. They've got a decent away little.
How I don't know. How I don't know.
Defensively, they're good. It's weird because I was thinking that during the game as well, but they're defensively all right. We've still, we've scored 2.
It helps when you play 6 at the back,
Yeah,
because every time we went forward, they just had a line of 6.
but that's
Like,
what
along
that's,
with
that's,
makes it
that's-
really
that's what you
difficult
need to do.
to
It's how we're
really
trying to play through
Yeah,
that.
that's
Wolves
up
did
to
the
us
same.
to find a way around that. And I think just to go back to what Deka said, I think Eddie Howe has got it wrong. He's played 3 players out of position.
100%.
You've
First,
got
first
Jordan on the
half.
left wing for some reason, even though you've played Harvey Barnes a full 90 minutes against Karabakh, man. Like, come on. Like, you're 6-1 up in that game. Why are you playing? You're probably your only left winger at that point because he's adamant that he's going to play Gordon up top for God knows how long. So why are you putting Barnes up for 90 minutes when you've got this game around the corner to put Joe Linton on the left-hand side, to put Voldemort in midfield, which is the poor lad look absolutely fucking lost. Then you've got Gordon up top. Then all I'm hearing at the minute is everything's Voldemort's fault. He's a shittest player that we've ever side. He's a shittest player in the Premier League. He looks completely on his arse. He just looks lost at times. And do you know what it is? I think Eddie Howe is just literally feeding him to the Lions right now by playing him in that position.
I think he's moved him, Nate, because I have to say, I've said this for a long time now, and I will repeat it. I do have question marks on him being a striker. I just don't feel yet he's maybe not physical enough, maybe physically
Even what
ready.
you saw from the start of the season.
Yeah, well, this has been thrown at me. Dad threw this at us straight away. He said, well, you weren't saying at the start of the season. I said, hang on, I did say it was unsustainable. He had something like 8 shots and 8 goals. It was unsustainable.
It was 100%.
His conversion rate was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. And he scored all types of different goals, even with his head, which apparently, well, he wasn't very good with, people said. He scored a couple with his head. The Wolves debut goal was a great header. And he has scored a great one against Sunderland. But now he looks lost of all confidence. And I actually feel he needs a break from the team. But I feel as if Eddie's put him in this position to try and almost give him more time on the ball. Almost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't agree with it. I don't think it particularly works, man. You know, I know
especially against Everton, because that's 100% where they posted. They're very, very physical in midfield. So, and 100% that's where the game, particularly in the first half, just seemed really, really weird that you would pick Joe Linton and put him out on the left-hand side.
Who's renowned to be a physical
against
midfielder.
A team like that. And
good point you made about Barnes there, man. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Cause,
no, I hadn't either.
Because you think of that game, as you say, was all done and dusted.
Yeah.
And you're whacking him out there for 90 minutes. Surely the Everton game is more important.
100%.
In the same week.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you're already 5 goals up against Karabakh,
it is
you're going to afford to.
You could maybe put Joe Linton left wing at that point if you have to.
Like,
someone else to play.
What's going through Barnes' head? Like when he's seeing these sort of things pan out, and Joe Linton's still on the left-hand side over him.
I mean, maybe he said he needs a rest. Maybe he's felt something. I don't know. He came on, didn't he, in the second half? But then didn't he change it halfway through the first half?
He put Gordon left.
Voldemort up front.
Because we started dreadfully. We started dreadfully.
Yeah.
Everton were by far the better team. I thought they were controlling possession.
They deserved to win in the end as well.
If we don't wake up here, we're going to concede. And sure enough, it felt within minutes. I thought that feeling it went in. And I know Tonali's coming with a bit of stick for that goal. I do think he followed the man. People are saying he didn't follow. He did follow him. He just didn't kind of. He followed him. Yeah. He didn't kind of do anything. He followed. He
wasn't
him.
much of a presence.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Which isn't the first time that that's happened. It is happened quite a lot with Tonali, hasn't it?
Where Branthwaite heads it from, you don't expect that to go in. Like
that's what I think Tonali's thinking.
I think he's probably thinking it's too narrow.
Aye.
It's got to be like so precise. I think he's trying to flick it on more than have a goal, and it just happens to have come off his head that little bit too fully, and then. Like that's not what you want to do about that. But once it's hit his head, it's in, isn't it? You know.
I want to stick with Voldemort for a little bit because I think this has been a big talking point. And what's really pissing me off, I feel as if there's a massive pile-on from outside of the fan base as well. All we're seeing now across like TalkSport, the idea what they say the worst Premier League signing in history.
In fairness, there's one person on TalkSport though. It's bloody Adrian.
I know that, but it's not just him. Like Shearer, like the last 2 times Shearer has been on any sort of match of the day, he went for him. He went from the other week against Karabakh. He went past for him Villa, I think it might have been in the cup.
He was critical. I wouldn't say.
I was going to say, Ganforum's very, very strong.
I didn't watch Match of the Day.
He was showing the stats the other day on Match of the Day, and all these stats are presented them and saying that he's only had X amount of shots on target. But then he shows, but he has played in midfield. Like, well, that's why. That's literally why. Like, you're not looking at Joe Linton, you're not looking at Willock, you're not looking at Ramsey going, well, they've not had many shots on target.
Then, I mean, if we're talking about Saturday, the time he was up front, I can't remember touching the ball.
I thought he was terrible on Saturday.
It wasn't a good game Saturday. I love him as well. But
you're starting in midfield. Oh, actually, that's not working. We're going to throw you back up front. Like,
I think you just know what to do with it.
Part of the problem on Saturday, you've got Baltimore in 2 positions. Gordon played in 3 positions.
That doesn't want to be on the right-hand side was on the right-hand side as well.
And
it's a mess. It's a mess.
It's good to have that kind of flexibility. And we've said before, why not after half an hour swap on and go? Fair enough. But that starting 11, it felt like it was just weird to have a striker in midfield, a midfielder on the wing, and a winger a striker. It was like when you're doing those quizzes where you get a picture. and you get them all right except for the top three, and then and you've got to move everything.
Even if you wanted to keep Voltemada in midfield, put Joe Linton in the midfield and put Ramsey on the left, which is actually how I thought he would have set up when I seen the team sheet.
Now it is against Everton. I wouldn't have been against having Joe Linton up front. Because if you're going to put crosses,
a bit more physical.
If you're putting crosses in the box and you've got James Tarkowski and Jared Branthwaite,
when the
Linton then just get his head, not score goals.
Well, the one chance I had early doors, a fella Joe Linton, fuck me, it's still travelling now.
He had a poor game, Joe Linton, mind.
He
did brilliantly for the Murphy goal. He did really, really well for that.
He put the ball in for the ball that comes back out for Tonali's volley as well.
He had a few good little, but for the most part, he was poor on the ball.
He got caught in possession so many times. It felt
again,
so many times.
The Gordon Blick thing as well.
You know when they announce the lineup, sometimes the team at the club,
yeah,
and it's in number or whatever, and it's just that's what the team was actually like that on the pitch. Right? It was actually like that. I was a beggar's belief when I seen him starting left wing.
You see the way they lined up for the second half after Ramsey gone off and Muller came on.
Yeah.
Those I think it was a Chow back, then obviously you've got Pope in goal, Chow at the back, everyone else on the line. It's like, what's going to happen here then? Even Dan Burns on the centre circle, he's like on the halfway line waiting to go forward. Yeah. And in the end, I don't think it did it as it goes, like, but
I just it's just simply not good enough. I'm sorry, it isn't. 3 defeats in a row at home, which is first in how I think the last time was Bruce, I believe. I think some started seeing, Deka started seeing. But it is. Of course, it's on you. The selection we've talked about, it is how got that wrong, no doubt. However, we still win that game for not individual sort of errors. We do. And I thought the first half, I thought we were miles off it. The second half, really, in fairness, it was all us.
Yeah, I'm
very critical though again, and I will constantly keep saying this. We can't really seem to hurt teams. We have a load of the ball. I think I've sat here and said this for weeks. That team as much have the ball, lads, because you're not going to be able to hurt.
Exactly what Everton did.
And we cannot handle a counter attack because we'll go so gung-ho.
That's what knacks with the counter.
There
was times that I thought we played through them quite well, but just couldn't get the shot away. There was a few times where a few passes, and we did the same thing where we go left, across the right. Yeah.
But that came from their really good organisation. Which you've got to hand it to them because they did get back and get a wall of 6.
But that's not
with them in front of them.
You've got
to hand that to them.
It doesn't make it totally impenetrable. Like, teams, you couldn't do that against like France and just expect, we're going to sit and keep it. So we did a couple of times where we've passed it round and we've made the run, got the ball in, and it's been that last little, there's been a clearance or Pickford's gathered it nice and easily. But we did a couple of times we got through and I thought we've actually played all right there in that moment, not overall.
There's about a 20-minute spell where we had a lot of the ball in that second half.
Before
we got the
second goal. I felt it was coming.
Yeah,
I was sitting there going, it's coming. It's going to come. And what I will give them huge credit for on this one is I've complained about not shooting from outside the box. I've said this a lot, right, this season. We've got 2 goals against Villa in the cup. One was a deflection, and then Tonali's other one was a screamer. Yeah. We've got Ramsey takes a pot shot, takes a deflection. Murphy takes a shot, takes a deflection. It's great to see. Deflection kings, whatever you want to call it.
At the end, from outside the box. That's incredible. I've never seen a ball struck as well as that, by the way.
Unbelievable. It was Shearer Everton. Actually, I think
it was a better strike.
It was unbelievable.
Not quite.
He'll never hit a cleaner, more accurate shot.
No one will.
If it was only a couple of inches to
the right towards us.
You can't save it then.
That's top corner, that, but it's a shame. But
and I still think if it goes in, it does paper over cracks, 1,000 cracks, like, because there is. I'm sorry, but there is issues with the team. Like, there is the goalkeeping situation. How many points is Pope going to cost for here? Like, it's been a lot this year. I'll forgive anyone for the odd mistake. I remember the Marseille one, he got hung out to dry. Like, it's one mistake. But then I remember more and more. I watched the all match reaction with Ian, and Ian was mentioning hatfuls. And West Ham put back in my mind. The Brentford one came back in my mind. Then you've got Marseille on top of that. You've got this one on Saturday. It's a lot of mistakes. Ramsdale must be sitting there going, "How Gaffer? How many has he got to make before I get a crack?" I'm not saying he is the answer either. I don't think either of them are. But I definitely don't think
he was like just as bad in the times that he was in.
No, man.
I didn't know if he was.
He was.
So when name me a time when he has dropped a clanger.
How many clean sheets has he kept?
A clanger. When has he dropped a clanger?
Bournemouth in the cup.
I remember the one that got a lot of stick.
3 in the last week.
I don't think it was his fault. And I criticised him at the time. Was that over kick against Spurs in the last minute where he took? But actually, he was totally blocked out, wasn't he? Really.
So this is what I said in the match reaction. I said
this is this whole rewriting history thing when players aren't in teams. Mind.
So, no, but we both said that he's not good enough. Like, he's not good enough. But fuck me, you can't stick with a player that's costing you points.
But he cost for points.
He wasn't.
Albeit he might not have been a parrying the ball out and a knock in, which most times that's unfortunate, but probably not.
It wasn't costing. But all I heard when Ramsdale was going to go, Nick Pope would save that. Fuck off, man. Yeah, maybe once upon a time, not towards the second half of the season. He's
Nick
been,
Pope,
oh, he's
Nick
been
Pope, as
poor,
bad
man.
as he has been, has saved us a lot of points this season. Put a lot
No,
of saves.
no,
He has.
no. Maybe
I can't really think of many. Like.
maybe the first quarter of the season.
No.
Come
Even
on.
in most recent weeks,
I would say
on,
PSG
yeah.
away.
he hasn't been good
PSG
enough.
away, that's
Top, that is the top and
Yeah,
bottom
exactly.
of it. But there's to say that he's been absolutely terrible all season is
Nobody
is
says he's been
unfair.
terrible all season. No, who said it? Nobody said
He's
it.
made that many, and I'm very much Nick Pope over Ramsdale, like, but he's made so many mistakes, so many like rudimentary mistakes. Marseille's one where he has a complete error of like, the thing when he tries to close down Aubameyang.
Screaming at him.
The
West Ham,
the
though,
West
every
Ham was the
goal.
one he-
I think every goal was.
certainly the first one. I can't remember
Yeah.
the third one. I don't think so, but I can't remember it exactly. But that one on Saturday, he'll have had faced that shot 100 times in training this week, and that's without training properly.
It's actually a good save if he
It's
doesn't do what he does.
It's
Almost
it's
scoops
not
it back.
hard save.
Mark, it's a Sunday league save.
Now, what
It's
I'm
not-
questioning as
honestly-
well.
honestly,
He's
I-
diving
I-
across the goal. He's a bit unsighted. He gets to it. He's
No,
the
you're
unfortunate thing.
You're whining us.
He's
Yeah.
40 yards out, man.
You're whining us.
My
He's still
Ben
got
hits
players
it.
straight in front of him.
Mate, come on,
Honestly,
yeah.
honestly,
He
if I,
dives across and
It's not even hit with much power.
It's not hitting with power.
It's
Mark.
Come on, come on.
Come on, Mark.
the highest level I ever played at, right, was the worst level of Sunday league. If I faced that shot on a Sunday afternoon, not morning, afternoon, because we're that fucking bad, and I conceded that goal from that shot, initial shot, I'm getting bollocked off loads of piss blokes in the fucking early 30s. Like that's,
I'm not absolving him of
But
blame
you're saying
here.
he's
not a good-
All I'm
powerful
saying is that
shot. He's blocked
nine,
now.
nine times
It's
out
not
of 10,
You said
you
it was a
just-
good save.
you either parry it out. Well, no, it is
No.
because of him.
It's not a
him
good
getting it-
save.
The save.
He
The
didn't
save
the
is
save
good.
goes back
It's
into the
not.
direction.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Mark, it's not a good save.
Oh, come
It's a save that
This is
I
brilliant.
honestly think there's not another, and I'm not saying that another keeper in the Premier League wouldn't make that mistake, because people are human, they make mistakes and all that, you know. But I would say even outfield player, if someone got sent off and you put like
Jose Enrique. And he went
yeah,
and
put
goal.
Joe Linton in goal,
He probably brought him out.
he would save that. So it's not a good save. It's a save that if that goes in, it's an
Now,
absolute-
what? No
if
one's.
if that initial one goes in, it's a catastrophe, even more so than what actually happens.
I agree.
What-
Yeah.
what-
I agree.
Yeah, actually, I'm with
But
you
he's
there.
going
Alan.
across.
No,
all
it's
I'm
not a
saying
good
is
save.
He's done well to get across and save it. It's the
He's
it's
there.
the next outcome of that.
Not
of
a good,
the
not to
fact
be
that
Roy Keane, but it is his job. That's literally his job, is to keep that out,
So
and that's not difficult.
It's his
It's
job.
not Pickford save at the end. That's a good save.
All I'm
So-
saying is 9 times out of 10, it tips over or away or something
Nah,
like that.
No, he
And
just
you know-
catches it.
You hold it in your body.
just hold
The
that.
reason he loses it is because he shouldn't.
I don't know what he does.
I
have
really could have
no
stopped
idea
him
what
with
he
his
does.
If
Because
he-
it's
If he
Didn't
pushes
ask Paul.
if he pushes it away for a corner or a throw and gets out of trouble, it's not a good save, because you've got to hold on to that.
Yeah. Oh,
That's what
can
he's
you
trying
imagine
to
the
do.
screams if it went for a corner.
Because he hasn't tried to push it away. He's trying to gather it, and it's gone wrong. It's a mistake. It's an accident. He's got there.
It's a clanger. He's dropped the
He's
clanger.
done the right thing by not trying to push it away. There's no reason to, because there's no danger. Because even if he loses it there, well, he gets it.
Now,
If
what?
he loses it there, he gets it. It's because he loses it and it squirms to his left. He's lying down to his right, so he's got to. And instead of trying to get up and get it, he crawls across the box.
Now
it's
that
a
nobody's
terrible
talking
mistake,
about
like.
the second part. This is the part I'm equally.
the defenders.
How slow does it take him to get up?
He's not trying to get up.
Jesus.
But
He's not trying to get up. He's
the
trying to
defenders
scramble across the box.
don't
'Cause when he gets
react at all either.
Oh,
Because- do you know why they don't
I don't
react?
think anyone's expecting him to do that, though.
Because
are they?
the two Everton players react very, very quickly.
I think because the players have probably already turned their back, thinking we're going to get up the field. Yeah,
It's only a couple of feet away, and I know he's going the wrong way. I'm aware of that, but I'm telling you now, in training, they're always doing the where you've got to try and get
They
up
do,
quicker.
yeah.
Down, yeah.
He honestly took a day and a half to get up there. It
I
was,
think it's because
it was ridiculous.
Knows.
Oh, it was all.
And I think the thing that sums it up, there's a great photo, and it's Kieran Trippier that's just
Oh, I know.
his head in his hands, and that just sums it all up.
Yeah.
I didn't see it go in. As soon as I saw he spilled it, I was like, oh, head down. Like that's
It was just
wait for it.
unbelievable.
It's
Unbelievable.
the initial save isn't a good save by any stretch of the imagination. Mark. That's an incredible. Yeah, I don't know if you've been drinking before the game.
Yes, that's one of your wildest
Nice.
calls. That one, like that is one of your
No,
wildest
all
calls.
I'm saying is his initial reaction to the shot to get across and save it.
If that's what we're giving Paul credit
But,
for,
Yeah, he's done.
fuck me.
He's done the right thing by not letting
You're
it go
blowing
straight
it
in.
all out of context. All I'm saying is he's done well to get across and get at it. And,
Mark, you need to
and
watch
do
that.
that.
Back. It's
I've
just
seen it.
it's just a save keepers make 5-6 times a game. It's just normal
There's
save.
no. If we have that same shot every week and we complain that the shot was shit, all the time. Like
It was a Bruno shot.
Bruno or Gordon has a shot from 25 yards, and the keeper just kind of picks up where he goes, "Oh, he's shooting from there for." There's no, and it was one of those.
It
It
was
was a
terrible.
late. It was a.
wasn't.
Mate,
It wasn't.
have you
honestly,
seen
it
it
was.
back?
It was.
Have you seen it back?
Yes.
No, really? Mate, come on.
I'm
trying to
you
stick up
going
for
on
you,
as
come
like he's just done a little back pass straight into his bloody
It's-
arms.
it is a pass.
It's
like.
not.
Mate,
It's
it
a-
pretty
it's
much
a-
was, you know.
Look, and I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that he's not to blame for what happened. He absolutely is. All I'm saying is the initial reaction from to get over and do it. That bit of it is good. What you'd want to happen. The fact that it then kind of
See what you said before?
squirms loose
That was good.
What did I say?
is the issue.
He did well to just not let it stand there and go
Yeah.
straight in, basically.
Ah.
Like,
By
the only
making
thing
the
he-
save, all he's done is stop it from going in,
that's exactly it, yeah.
and that's like, what. It's a keeper
Which is
shot,
what
man.
he's meant to do.
But it's not. It's not.
Right. You keep talking. Please.
It's not a
please.
difficult. It's not a particularly challenging. It's not a skillful save. It's
Especially,
not.
I'm normally quite reserved in the ground. Like when these sort of things happen, I'm normally
One
quite
player,
calm
two
and
players
No,
directly in
that
front of
is-
him.
I've-
He is, man.
I haven't
He's
put it-
bending it around Tonali. It
he's
is.
bending it now.
Watch. Tonali. There.
Oh, mate, come on, yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying is that there's players in front of the ball. So he's reacting to it when he's seen it come through.
So I
that's
was-
all I'm saying.
if that
And
first
that ain't
shot
a
goes-
pass back. He's hit that with power and bent it.
If that first shot goes in, then honestly, that's worse than what happens.
It is. It actually
is.
probably is, yeah.
Aye, but probably if he just stands there and
Do you know what it is?
lets it go
I
in.
think you're the only person on this planet that could make me laugh about that situation. You
I know.
God
Like
bless you.
it's cheered me up.
Oh, it's
this, you know.
cheered me up,
It
man.
really
Because
has.
you're taking it completely out of context. All I'm saying
It's
is
just a
that
good save.
But what you've said is that was better than Pickford save.
I have not said that at all. Nothing like that.
I was just saying. to
All I'm
Bessie there.
saying is his initial reaction from where the ball comes from through that body of players from to make the initial save. You look at it and go, that's a good save. He's got to it and cleared it away in normal circumstances.
In normal
What
circumstances,
then
nobody says what
happens-
you're saying.
It's then what happens,
So-
which then causes the issue.
Do you think it's going to be up for save of the season? Do you reckon it's going to make the final cut?
Yes, but
I'm normally quite reserved in the ground. I'll just say,
All right,
the
right.
Bessie. I'm normally quite
All right,
reserved.
you-
And I
but you're
flipped, you know, at that
I was-
point.
You know, when you've just said anybody can make you laugh at that situation, he was
Ah,
making me
fuck,
laugh at that
honestly,
situation.
when I saw
He
when I
went.
saw him just parry that back inside, I started going fucking ballistic. And I'm
hilarious.
normally quite calm, and I thought, for fuck's sake, I was like, come on.
It's Tonali in front of the ball, directly in front of the ball,
Mark.
and he bends it round him. And then there's also
Mate,
Dan Burn standing behind him.
You could have.
Right. So Mark,
That's all
yes,
I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not even
Well, no,
going on
but
top.
That's
saying-
all I'm saying is
by
there's
saying
two
that's all I'm
players in
saying, you're
front of the
removing all
ball.
context. All context.
I'm not removing
You
all
are-
context.
you are, because
You're removing all of the context because he only passed it back. It was a terrible shot. There was nobody in
Yeah.
front of the ball 2 minutes ago. Now that you've watched it back, you can see there's two players in front of the
Right.
ball.
So there are players between him.
You've sat there and
Mark.
said it was terrible.
Mark, it is terrible. Mark, there are players between him and the goal. He also hits the ball from about 30 yards out. Like, of course there's going to be players between him and the ball, because how can there not be? If he's 30 yards out having a shot from
Right.
there,
But the way you've just been going on is that there's nobody in front of the ball, and he's just ruled the ball back to him.
he's also
That's all I was saying.
Nick Pope is
all I
also
was saying was there was players between him and the ball. He didn't have a clear sight of it until it comes
I'm
around,
gonna-
and
empty
he
vessels.
reacts to the situation.
I've got a
That's all
comment
I'm
here,
saying.
which is really,
Pope's
really tickled us. And
also-
That's
it's from,
all I'm saying about it.
Pope's
Carry
also on that side of the goal already.
Yeah, I thought
yes,
He's actually already there, isn't he?
He doesn't actually need to move to make the save.
you can catch it under his top.
He doesn't move to make this.
No, he doesn't need to.
So there's a great
It's a
comment
shot
from
from
El Grande Salmon that says Mark would argue that Fred West was a terrific
I'm
builder.
not arguing. You're the ones arguing.
Normally it's me and you. Even Besty's arguing with you this week.
I know.
Besty never
Mark,
does.
I like
Besty
Nick
never
Pope.
does.
I think Nick
I know
Pope's-
he's
Aye.
head of the Nick Pope fan
I-
club.
I-
to be
I
fair.
think
No,
Pope's
no, he's not.
But I'm not even
Chairman.
defending Nick
Get
Pope.
down there and go.
That's the whole thing. I'm agreeing with you that it's poor.
You're the only one not defending him because a minute ago I had 11 players with him in the ball.
So, Chris,
Two players that are there that
Yes.
you didn't realise were there until you watched it, apparently.
I can understand
He's
why
more than
you
30
were.
yards out.
I can understand why you were, because you, I think a little bit have Voltameda. You're not happy with the pylon and him, correct? Obviously, right? Which is fine, by the way. Also, a little bit maybe on the Ramsdale side of like you not defended Ramsdale, but you didn't like that every time you let a goal in, Pope saves that. So you were almost
You
defending
get it all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
all
get
the
where you're
time.
coming from. I get
And,
where you're
do you know
coming
what it is? I think people were desperate for. I don't want to say for Ramsdale to make a mistake, because I don't think any fan wants that. But they were quite happy because they thought that it would solve everything and Pope would come back in, similar to when we
I
thought,
have never seen any of that at all. Quite the opposite.
What?
People didn't want Pope in goal. They
Are you
wanted
winding me
Ramsdale
up?
in all the whole time.
What
I
I would
used to
say,
sit here every week and go, who do you want starting? Everybody used to say Pope.
what I would say, Chris, a mitigation to that would be the Bournemouth
That
game
was
in the
based
cup.
on
Ramsdale was horrible until the penalty shootout. He saved a couple of penalties. He's a hero.
Yeah.
All over BBC Match of the Day, YouTube. He's a hero, and he was terrible for 120 minutes and saved a couple
What
of
was
penalties.
it on the pub? Was it? I thought it was other place. I could be wrong. I'm not going to say that.
But
'cause I don't know.
we're talking about one game there.
No, but that's what you're saying. If that was a narrative, then that Ramsdale's a hero wouldn't have been what came out of that game.
No, but I think
by the end of the spell of Ramsdale being in goal, yes, people were desperate to get Pope back in goal.
No, mate. It's the first game, man. The first game.
Quite the opposite.
We could go back and listen to episodes that we've done on Monday, and I've asked the question. And I'm not saying Ramsdale's Jans are far from it. I think they're both not very good goalkeepers at this moment in time.
I mean, I even sat here and thought and said I thought Ramsdale was better than what he's actually shown that he is.
Yeah.
In because when we signed him, I thought and Besty was the one that used to sit there every week and saying he's shite and terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And
Besty
I used
was
to say,
right.
no, I think he's actually a good keeper. I thought he was unlucky in the spells that he's had previously with the clubs.
But I've heard people
But his
say,
performances when he's came into the team have
but
been
people
poor.
have said there's light years between the two of them. There's not anymore. Like
I think not so much now. I agree with that now. I think there was Pope at his best. Pope, I'd say pre-injury when he put his shoulder out against Man U that time. Ironically, trying to make a save I didn't need to make because Shea blocked it. That was I don't think Pope's quite come back the same. He has had good games in the PSG way. He was excellent. I thought for the most part.
He was amazing.
yeah, I agree,
And that Saturday for the most part he played okay, but that was a huge mistake. It's like Bramble. Bramble would be brilliant for 91 minutes a game.
Well,
Injury
even
time, he's not
Gordon, I didn't think was terrible at the weekend.
I thought Gordon was all right, but he got booed off.
He's got the reaction that he has because of the mistake.
Pathetic, by the way, getting booed off. Mind, what I would also say in mitigation of that, because I'm also head of the Anthony Gordon Appreciation Society. I don't think it was terrible. He was partially at fault for the third goal. There was a point in the first half, and I know that Kris is going to know exactly what I'm on about here.
Yep.
Even
Where
before I
he
say it,
just
where
stops running after the ball.
Where Tarkovsky's coming across and
Goal
goal
is a
just
challenge.
stops, completely stops, and it rolls off a goal kick. I mean, even if it's going off a corner, maybe you'd say like, well, don't get the ball, but try and. But he says Tarkovsky coming across and just shits it. I would have taken him off then.
Just moments before that, Gordon had put a challenge in on the other, like closer to the Lee's end.
Yeah.
And I think Gordon was expecting a similar sort of challenge coming in
on him,
and he's just bottled it completely.
I would have brought Bonds on then.
I think sometimes when you were Gordon, I've actually campaigned a little bit recently because I'm going to say it again, and I'm not trying to pick on anyone. I don't think Wissam and Voltemaker are good enough, so I haven't really got a problem with Gordon being in front because I think he's trying to give her the press and the pace, that sort of outlet, a bit like an Isak. We all know Gordon's not Isak, but that's why he's playing him centre forward. He's playing him there because he's giving her that press from the front.
Yeah.
Wissa cannot run. Voltemaker's not the quickest. That's just who he is. It's fine.
I don't think Voltemaker's quite.
He's not
built for the Premier League just yet. I think he'll get it. I
hope so, man.
My big thing with both Wissa and Voltemaker is give him the summer.
Oh, I hope so.
When I said that about Sula as well.
But what I was going to say about Gordon is that I feel sometimes his running, pressing-wise, is almost for sure in regards to, look at me, I'll chase someone 100 yards to the goalkeeper, and then he'll pass and I'll chase him 100 yards. But there's a lot of the running he doesn't do that he should do on coming back, where there's actually a break on, and he'll not really bother, he'll not track back. But if someone's passing back the goalkeeper, he'll chase him 100 yards and there's no one in front of him, and everyone cheers and thinks he's amazing.
I think the team's unbelievably reliant on Tonali doing that job.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
Honestly, he's just constantly running just putting out fires left, right,
one in the first half where he started the fire. He lost at an edge of the box and he won it back on the edge of ours.
There was now I think the ball was out of play. I will say.
I know where you're going. Yeah, the
where Chow gets caught in that area a few times. I'm sure João Pedro goal almost exactly the same goal. I know Beto missed, but it was in exactly the same place as that João Pedro goal. I remember. But Tonali did amazing there because he puts him off. I don't think it would have stood anyway. I think VAR would have said.
I think it went out, but he's totally overcommitted.
And Tonali chased back and just probably did enough to put him off to hit the bar.
Yeah.
I actually thought Beto played well, actually, to be honest. I thought he was really physical up front. I thought we couldn't really handle him.
He won everything.
He just won everything. I thought he was really good, actually. But the bottom line is, though, is selection was poor. And definitely to your point, Kris, about playing Karabag at midweek there was, I could not believe the team sheet. I have to say, I couldn't believe the team sheet. And to be giving people full 90s when you're that far up in the game. And then you're starting to play people out of position in a Premier League game where, listen, if you want to be getting European football, you have to be beating Everton at home. You've got to be winning that game.
I didn't mind the lineup against Karabakh so much, but 1-1, 2-0 up in the first 6 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying change it then, but like that's the point where you can think, well, I kind of see them scoring 7 would have been that they needed at that point. And it's nice to win the game 1-3-2 and all that, obviously, but it would have been nice. I thought obviously Shalha came on, Murphy played the whole game, Asula played the first hour, 75 minutes or so. It would have been kind of to say it's weird because I was going to say it would have been nice to see Neve come on again. Counterpoint to that is Wissa needs a few minutes, and that's a perfect game to give Wissa minutes to come on. And he's not going to pull any trees up, but get him match fit, get him running around, get him kind of trying to cause problems and all that. And if he's not fit enough to start that game, then fair play. Like that's one of those things. But yeah, the Karabakh game in isolation, I didn't mind the lineup as such. But it's only to go back to what Kris said about Barnes playing the full game and then not starting on Saturday and then starting Joe Linton left side of that 3 up front. It just doesn't. It's not good. That's not right.
It doesn't look
I think
great.
Eddie's got it wrong again there. Like, and I'm the head of all the fan groups.
Yeah.
But I think Eddie's
more fan groups than he goes to secret meetings.
I wonder if that's what they do with Mark with these secret meetings. They're given like lines to take. Right, you must defend Pope.
He's definitely been taking some lines.
It was a great save.
Jesus Christ!
He's killed it around 15 defenders.
2.
Shall we go?
What I will just say before, I thought Saturday we really missed Bruno in there, and I think that put even more pressure on Tonali that you mentioned because we're wanting him, we're needing him to do the creative stuff up front and do everything. But to your point, he's the one that's doing all the stuff going backwards as well. And
Ramsey's goal, can I say,
he can do both of them.
Yeah. That pass into Ramsey's just so good, And that's the pass that we don't do enough. And that was I thought it was quite underrated pass personally. When I watched it back a few times, that was a great pass. Right away, that's the type of pass Bruno would look for. But to Mark's point, he's bang on. Well, we're asking tonight to be creative, but then also he's grafting.
He's doing the lot.
He's a 6 and an 8. It's ridiculous.
And trying to get the win at the end as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Equaliser,
sorry. Yeah.
It's mad though because literally, like, we score and then they go straight down the other end and get it.
It's criminal, mate.
Twice. Seconds later, but
Mark, I think we were drawn the game after we conceded the first total of 3 minutes. I think it was.
Just under 3 minutes.
Mental.
It didn't even feel that long. In all honesty,
it
felt like it was literally straight away. But I think it did feel like a real kick in the teeth because it felt like there was only going to be one team.
I agree.
Winning that and then we're going chuck it away like that.
Do you know how I knew it was a bad performance and a bad result? Because Mark barely mentioned it after the game. And you're normally quite a positive person when it comes to the match and the performance that we've just seen. And after the game,
it depends.
Well,
depends what
after the game, it was like, yeah, we're not going to talk about this.
Which is weird because then, if I go back to what game was it? Was it? I can't remember.
Brentford was the last.
Was it Brentford at home
defeat?
Where we watched
3-2.
We were awful, shocking, and we all sat here and said the players really need to look hard at themselves and all of that kind of thing. And
but it was that game when I said that we're going to find out the players are playing very well.
The performance was very, very different to that, but the outcome is the same. And if anything, I actually thought the boos were louder on Saturday than they were for that game.
Yeah, because it's becoming a theme, isn't it? I'm sure.
I thought they're louder for Brentford. Like.
That's 3 home defeats in a row.
Yeah. I remember that game. He's referencing the Brentford one. I'm sure we played Bournemouth in the cup in that same period time-ish.
Just before, yeah.
And I think I conceded that 6 goals we've conceded against Brentford and Bournemouth. We conceded 3 against Everton. I'm sorry.
3 against Leeds, or 2 against Leeds?
3 against Leeds. It was 4-3.
4-3.
So it's 12 goals you're conceding there against. I know Mark doesn't like to do this, but lesser opposition. I know Everton are doing well. I'm not trying to say
you've already done it with saying, "Wow, we should be beating teams like Everton."
But mate, if we are aspiring to be what we want to be, you have to be. In this thing about only 5 points off 4th, that's in the bin. Because I'm telling you, these days are looking 5th and that 6, 7. They're gone, man. I don't believe. There's no way we'll get Europa. No way we'll get Champions.
Well, I think we've got a question about European football, but we'll get to that
now.
At some point. Yeah. So I'm going to go through the Instagram questions first of all. Some of them we've already mentioned and covered the topics, but we're going to start with
start with them. Do you reckon? To get the conversation, because you're right, we'll probably have answered a few.
That's fine. We'll be here all night, man. So this one is from Colm_K that says, how does Eddie Howe turn things around from here, I don't think they can be away.
I'm
That's
greatly
your burner, innit?
I'm greatly concerned for one reason, right?
Wallace
This is
does
not
the score key.
and this is not me flip flopping because 1 minute I'm over the moon. This is not me saying how or anything like that. However, there is a strong possibility that we've got Man City in the FA Cup,
The weekend,
so you could be out of that one.
We've got Man United on Wednesday first.
Wednesday.
Wednesday first, yeah.
Wednesday.
The Premier League's done, by the way. Honestly, I feel that's done. Now, if you lose, see, we do get beat off Man United, it would really turn the corner. Like on that character, all credit, fair enough, whatever.
Since the change of manager.
Well, that wasn't me that said that.
I mean, that's
but
not the only thing.
If you lose off Man City though in the cup, you then got Barca. Your season could be over. It could be because there's no way on this earth we're going to finish New York this
it's
season.
only a couple weeks of Derby as well.
Then your season.
I'm not talking about that tonight.
March is horrendous when you look at the fixtures.
Horrendous, yeah.
Absolutely horrendous.
And when the question about turn it round, someone said that to me the day, and I said, "What does turn around look like to you? What does that mean? Turn it around? Does that mean you
Damage
finish
limitation right now.
7th or whatever, or is that win the FA Cup? What is turning it around mean?
I think from this point, 7th would be an excellent finish of the season.
From where we are, yes.
From where we are now, I think 7th. Because I'm looking at the fixtures between, I think, probably after the Derby and the end of the season, we've got, I think, Arsenal away in that run. Man City again? No, someone else. There's another tricky one in that run, I'm sure.
Chelsea's. We've got. Sorry, do you mean
Chelsea, Barcelona twice?
Chelsea before the Derby.
Yeah.
It's like from after the Derby, I'm thinking it's like,
Oh, sorry.
because after I'm sure there's only one. They're all hard games, Premier League and all that. But looking at the fixtures, I thought, well, there's points to be won there, possibly a few home games. But after Saturday, you think, well, teams know how to play against Newcastle now. That's in the games that we've lost at St James's have been in this little run. This is Brentford, Everton, and another one. Who?
Villa got beat off Villa.
Villa in bad form at the minute. I know the beat were there and they kind of killed the game a bit, which Everton did as well at the weekend. Like, they kind of did the time wasting, hit the deck and all that, carry on. Not wrong with it. But those are 3 games that if we are going to finish in the better positions, 7th, 8th, which I think is the best we can kind of hope for now, realistically, you take 7 points in those 3 games, at least.
Well, it wasn't so long ago we couldn't win away from home. Now we can't win at home.
Yeah. It was just lost 1-3 away in a week.
Conceding goals for fun.
That's the big thing for me. And for me, the big thing, it's not talking to Eddie Howe and how does he turn it around. I don't think he does this season.
Yeah, I
don't think he does. But then next season, if we won't have Champions League next season unless we win, which we're not going to do.
Why not have any Europe, Besty?
I don't think.
I think there's still a shot because the Premier League's guaranteed the 5th place Champions League spot again near us. Damn it! So
Goes
that
down to 8th,
moves everything down 1-1. But see, you never know who wins FA Cup. That can have an effect on league qualification as well. I think there's a chance if we finish strongly, we could get in the Conference League. Outside Europa League maybe, but I think Conference Leagues are most likely. Well, no, most likely is none, but Conference League is most likely if we do it. And that's when you get the time to train. I think that's been a massive thing. It's not being able, because it's a problem in itself in that he's got to work out how to win games without the training, because teams do. The teams at the top, and I know they've heavy investment in squads and stuff like that. And we are still kind of trying to climb that ladder, and it's a bit difficult because of the financial rules and whatnot. But we need to find a way of winning games without drilling the players relentlessly on the training ground, saying, here's how we do it. Here, like repetition, that how it does in the kind of man management, and you don't stand there, you stand literally there. And that makes all the difference, knowing what everyone's going to do. They all talk about, like Dan Burns saying, if I've got the ball here at this point in the game, and it's come from there, I know that he's going to run it, Without the training, you don't have that. And that's fine. That's all well and good in the seasons where you get a week between every game. But if you're going to play in Europe every year, you don't have. We haven't had a week off, apart from international breaks,
which is mad. You're right.
Game of the season.
I totally agree. But
they need to find a way of. Working that, and that's how it's shortcoming for me. I think next season, you don't know what the squad's going to look like. I think next season, if we're not in Europe, we'll get a week between nearly every game. We'll fly. We'll be absolutely great again.
But then we're not just going to be in the same position.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think Howe can turn it around this season. But he needs to find a way of doing it.
He needs to fix it himself.
If we find ourselves in this situation again in 2 years' time, if we're in the Champions League again, if we're in the Europa League again in the season after next, and we're facing the same problems, I think that's the point where you say, well, it's Howe's third crack on it now. It's it will, at that point, hypothetically, be his 3rd season with European football and Premier League and whatever else, and he still hasn't found a way to make it work. That's when I think you start to go like, is that as far as we can go with Howe?
Well, the CEO's coming out saying by 2030 he wants to be gone for the
He's
league.
not helping mind.
Well, Stevie said the same thing, didn't you?
Yeah,
more or less?
I know.
Can't be coming out and saying
She
stuff like
didn't
that.
have the experience of Hopkinson, like, but
There's so much pressure on everybody. by
It's,
saying shit like that.
insane. It's insane. And, we're in a position where the aspiration is that, clearly, you said it, right? So that's what the club want to do. And I'm telling you, the club are not wanting to be in and out of Europe like a yo-yo. It doesn't help marketing deals, doesn't help your financial deals you do off the field. You need to be consistent. You can't be in one year and not the other. You know what I mean?
It doesn't help with player recruitment either.
And no, of course, it doesn't. Absolutely not.
a retainment.
A retainment's my worry because we'll definitely lose a couple. I think certainly one. And sorry, you go through some questions. I've got something I want to say later on.
So I'll find one about players. Let's have a quick look. Right, I can't find it at the minute, but I'm going to read on what Besty said about retaining players. Is that a worry? Because it looks like Besty said, we're going to have to go on a decent run to get any form of European football. And relying on that teams.
Win the Champions League.
Yeah, win the Champions League. Exactly that.
Or FA Cup.
Are you worried about certain players leaving? Because I think there's a big rebuild anyway coming in the summer. It has to be.
I think how transformational this may need to be, you can't do it over one window. It's a World Cup year, isn't it? So that makes things even harder. I worry that the business that I feel we would need, and I'm not going to sit here and write it all down for you, but I don't think it can be done in one window. That's what, truthfully, I don't.
There's always that talk of kind of over changing stuff as well, and kind of players taking longer to bed in and not getting all the club, the structure of the club and all that, and they talk about the leadership group and how the work that they have to do. You can't just change your entire first team playing squad and expect it to stick. We always seem to start the season slowly as well. We say that every year.
We're seeing that right now. Trying to embed two new strikers into it, trying to embed a new right winger.
We're trying to embed one with striker as a midfielder.
Yeah, that's
the problem. Is they're not new anymore.
I know you caught 28 games into the season.
But
we've played more games
this season.
It's compounded by the issues that you've just sat and gone through with the training side of things.
And that was one I mentioned the other week, but I'll reiterate again because I saw a comment saying someone saying they don't buy the training thing. It's a massive thing. Wissa and Chow did a thing, and got an interview, and the interviewer says, "So he's like arrivals and training." And they said, "We haven't trained together.
Yeah,
we don't do drills and stuff like that." And because of how managers, it's a huge thing. That it's massive. But again, that's not a defensive how. Sorry, Deka. No. It's not a defensive how because how needs to learn how to make that work. I'm not saying, "Oh, poor Eddie, it's such a shame." And the thing I've sort of thought of after me fucking 25-minute screed earlier on there, like the first season we're in Europe was Howe's first season in Europe as well. So I think he gets a bit of leeway for that one, saying, "Well, it's him working it out." This time around, does he second go? And it's the point now where we're thinking, well, this should be a bit better than it is really. But I think again with Eddie Howe, I think he's earned the right to have a bad one. No, thanks. The next one, if it's in 2 years' time, we're in Europe again and we'll have the same issues. That's when we're going, well, when does it get better? When do we need to take another step up? Because it's not working. But I'm still thoroughly Howe-in.
I am as well. What the thing I want to reference, and I forgot when you mentioned it about the training thing, is I find it more strange that, because I'm with you, by the way, I absolutely agree. I still think that's another reason why Man United's perhaps doing as well as they are as well, because they haven't gone midweek game. It's just Saturday to Saturday or Sunday to Sunday, whatever.
Just look at Brentford. Brentford's a great show as well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to help. No question about it. What I find more mad is, yes, he hasn't got the time on the training ground, but he's playing 7 strikers a game. He's playing Joe Linton left wing. Like, there's so many changes to the team, but then you're not actually able to do it in training. You might be doing a whiteboard and say, I want you to play here this time. So it does feel a bit mad that if you're not able to train, you would think you'd be more, what's the word?
Regimental.
Yeah, in the trust, try and trust that he can be. Personnel, of course, injuries and stuff, I understand, fatigue and that, I get it. But
the bit with Voltamara in midfield, it almost feels like he's just trying to keep him in the team. It's not working for him up front, but rather than, and you said it before, that I think he does need to come out of the team because it's not working. I mean, I said the other week, when's the experiment going to stop with him? Because he's not a midfielder. He's not cut out for it because the Premier League is so fast, so physical, and that's one thing that he's not demonstrated in the time that he's been here, regardless of where he's playing on the pitch.
I think maybe as a number 10, it might work because we've seen him put players.
He's not number 10 either.
No, but we've seen him put great balls in for players, like instinctive, just throwing the balls, like nice bits of skill, but players aren't missing. Players aren't scoring opportunities. So that's an assist off him.
He's a bit of a moments player, isn't he? Where I think in a game he will have a couple of moments where he has absolutely got quality. The problem is for long periods of that game, you lose it, get beaten in the air.
Maxi.
Yeah.
Does that make? There you go.
But if you think of number 10s in this league, they're very much freedom, roaming around, picking the balls up, popping into pockets and stuff like that. He does none of that. He does absolutely none of that.
He's not a classic number 10. I think I said this before. I kind of just want him to play like he does up front, but then have someone else further ahead of him.
Yeah.
Don't really change what he does.
He's a false nine.
He's a false nine.
That's pretty fair to say.
But we're not getting player. God, I've sat here and said till I'm blue in the face. If we're not getting the players in and around him or in behind him to utilise that, then it's going to look the same all of the time.
I think we saw quite a lot of that at the weekend as well, though, when he was getting the ball in midfield. There's nobody pushing on. Yeah. Not a single player.
But straight away, he would have 2 or 3 Everton players bang on him.
Yeah.
Because they're just not giving him the time, and that's...
I think he's technically good, no question of that. He's got great feet, but he's not technically quick enough in that role because you need to be damn good on the ball.
You can't be loose at all.
Nah,
you've got to be
right
right on top of it.
Like, I do think. I'm sorry, I will go back. But I think Ramsey's improved on that loads.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
he's good.
But he's a midfielder.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying.
He's played there most of his career.
Yeah.
Or out on the wing.
Yeah. And I get the scapegoat. You are right to disagree, and I do feel how. I don't know if he's helping him in that regard.
He's not helping him
at
all.
I'm seeing he's getting 14 touches a ball.
Trying to help him by keeping him in the team and trying to have him involved. You can
inadvertently hurt him.
And I think that's what's now happening is because
do you know how
I even said to you at the weekend, didn't I? Because there was a moment where he did lose the ball, and you heard there was a physical and vocal reaction to it in the crowd, and I went, people are turning on him now.
It's coming. It's coming.
And I said, I replied to you more. I said, I don't mind him trying that because there's nothing else around him. He's got to try something. And he lost the ball. And it was early. Yes, it was early in the game. It was very similar to what Gordon did. But obviously, Gordon's, we're at the point where you don't need, if you can't win the game, you categorically do not lose it. Yeah. And Gordon just ran into a body of players. Yeah. Sticking with strikers, and we'll come to you, Besty, because you love this player. This is from Dean. Do you think Howe has given up on Wissa?
No. I was expecting.
I thought it was going to be Big Willie.
So did I. I thought it was there.
I'm not going to waste my time.
No, I don't think he's given up on Wissa. I think Wissa's just not quite fit. I think it's as simple as that. I don't think he's really. He had the run where he was kind of starting a game, then getting half a game, then him and Walter Mara were dovetailing a bit. He's been out for a good few weeks again. Then he's played a little bit against Karabag, a little bit.
Is that a worry though?
No.
The fact that he's been out again.
No. Nah.
It is for me.
I've kind of in my head written this season off a little bit in the league now, where I think we'll just end it now, get the end of the season as best we can, and then do what we can with what we're having this summer. I still think Wissa and Walter Mara, with a good summer in them, albeit one way Walter Mara's going to be at the World Cup, so he gets a bit less of a pre-season. I think once that in the team properly, it's the training. Honestly, it's a huge thing with it.
Do you think he starts Wissa on Saturday?
Man City in the League Cup. FA Cup. No, I think he starts with Gordon.
I do, yeah.
Because Gordon did I thought when we played at City of Manchester the other week, he started with Gordon up front and we caused him trouble.
What does that not just ring out with long bells? We've got 2 strikers and we're not playing any of them.
That's why I sit here every week and say I have no reason about both of them.
150 million or something.
Everyone's calling out Voltameda, stats this and all this worst sign ever. Wissa getting a free ride here, like
he's not like I saw someone say that on Twitter.
Maybe our fans might not. What I'm saying is the outside audience. People are Voltameda this, Voltameda.
Do you not think that's because he's not in the team? So he's like,
well, perhaps you're right.
I saw someone on Twitter saying the other day saying, Voltamera's getting a hard time. I agree, he's getting too much of a hard time. But Wissa and Langer are getting away scot-free. I'm thinking, no, they're not. Like,
I mean, Langer's had never season until
I can't believe how wrong I was on Wissa in terms of and I know he's been injured, but goodness me, everyone gets injured. And I know he didn't have a pre-season. I get all of this right, I do, but my God, he looks terrible, man. When he comes, he looks absolutely. He doesn't look anywhere near as quick as I thought he was going to be. It's not the player I've seen at Brentford,
and that's where I hope, to Besty's point, it's because he's not fit yet. Because I think when he first came in, he was making a lot of runs along the line. He was trying to get in behind.
He's got a first touch like a trampoline, man.
Well,
that hasn't helped. But that'll be like a football and minutes and stuff like that.
What was the cup match? His very first start, I think, was a cup. I mean, Fulham in the cup where he scores, and it's the keeper drops it and it's a tap in, but he's movement, and it's a movement,
and that seems to have disappeared a bit over the.
I think it's fitness.
It's pretty good. He's 50 year old.
I think it's fitness.
He does look about 50, like
fitness, a bit of confidence. I think when the Champions League's gone, when Barcelona knock out.
I thought you said when we win the
So did
Champions
I as
League.
well.
No.
We'll finally win it.
when Barca put one to the sword in a few weeks' time, when we finally get a few midweek, I think we'll see. I still think we'll finish the season
Yamal getting one-on-one with Burnley.
better than.
My God.
I'm not even bothered anymore about the Champions League.
Terrorising.
I just want.
You want the season over, don't you? By the sounds of it.
I just
You
want.
it
I want them to start looking like a. I just want to start winning games.
Well, my worry I've got for this March run, which
Yeah.
of course when you see it on paper, and I've sat here before and said this, and you know what it is, we've turned it round. PSG away draw. Oh, I thought we'd get hammered there. Whatever game it's been, we've
Tottenham
won.
Villa away in the cup.
Tottenham Villa will get beat at Villa. I've sat here and said, and I'll argue with him every week, but I remember saying like, we might lose all these 5 games. We won 3 of them in a row or whatever it was, right? However, I'm going to, sit here and say it again. If we do lose them games and you get to the derby, I'm telling you now, like, it's going to be hell on you now.
Pressure.
Hell on.
Pressure.
Yeah, real pressure. Because, and I've been as honest as I can be, we could lose all of them games. And do you know what it is, right? Yeah, we could actually, because Man United, Chelsea, Barca, we could definitely lose these games.
Probably second favourites.
That could be 4 home defeats on the bounce Premier League wise, Man United. Then you've got Barca at home first. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So there could be 5 in a row. I know it's different competition. Could be
Chelsea.
5. Then Chelsea's
away, sorry.
that's away, isn't
Chelsea's
it? Yeah.
away.
Then you've got the man. It's awful, isn't it? Let's be fair.
The difference is those 3 teams will actually come out and have a go,
Mate,
which will
Everton scored 3 goals when they didn't even try. They didn't even try.
Let's be fair, I think Everton came out and had a goal in the first until like the score.
That was very much counter attack as well, and then relying on.
I'm not so sure.
Stupid
I thought
individual
Everton
mistakes.
looked quite dangerous.
I'm with him there, and I have sat here a lot of times in the Leeds game. If it's a game of basketball, I've actually got a chance.
Yeah. It's the
I agree
space
with you
in
there.
behind, and
I'll
not
give you
having that space in behind is when we struggle, and that's where we are typically at our best.
What would be your starting front 3? What would it be?
For me, it would be Gordon left.
Yep.
Alanga right. And Voldemort up top for me right now.
Probably say
For what game? Just in general,
because let's be very honest.
We would say we're strongest.
What do you feel is the strongest? Because there's a lot of chopping and changing.
Players available right now. That's probably what I'm going to go. And that's harsh on Barnes.
Because mine
really harsh on Barnes.
Mine's Gordon up top, Barnes and Alanga.
Yeah.
That's my 3. My second would be what you've said.
It's weird 'cause I don't hate Gordon up top either.
But
I've only won 1.
Starts 1.
It's not a good record with him up front.
It's
No.
horrendous.
It's not a good record at all.
Why was that? Yeah, Gordon up top.
No, you're absolutely right.
it works in the Champions League.
It works away from home.
Farmers, Karabakh.
I see it works.
Come
Could be
on.
wrong there.
Karabakh, come on.
Liverpool-
We can't judge
That's one
Gordon
team.
as
That's
being
one
amazing in the
team.
Champions League because he's playing Karabakh.
One team.
Liverpool away. And listen, we got absolutely hammered.
Yeah, 20 minutes.
First 40 minutes, oh my God, I thought we were
Looked
electric.
brilliant.
And Gordon was up top at that point. But you have to bow to the stats, and if you've only won 1 in 19 or whatever it is,
It's a problem.
do you know what it is that doesn't work? Does it?
If you're going to persevere with it, then it's trying the same thing and it not working or whatever it is.
I also look at this Champions League thing. I have to mention because everyone was saying this night of football. They were saying how can we do it in the Champions League? I've sat here for a long time. We played the Unions Club. We played Karabakh. We played Benfica. Not a great team, man. PSV, Atletico Bilbao, whatever. They're not great. They're not good, man. They're not good. Like, they're not.
I don't think it's that they are not good necessarily,
good,
but
That is
it's
the team that we play
Oh.
is good.
I don't think it's that they're not.
The team we play.
Well,
it's only
the next
them,
4 or
it's only
5
this,
are
it's only
kind of
them.
good.
It's not that they are not good. I think it's that the Premier League's that much stronger now.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
There's not much of a comparison to the team one.
No, even like a Bilbao would probably be the strongest team that we played that on Barcelona. It's in James's in the Champions League this year. It was 3-1.
Oh, they were awful. Well, they had a few players missing as well.
Well, they pressed really well early on, but we played around it well. But the cause were bothered first half hour or so.
But I think with the Champions League, there's no real physical side that we've came up against, and I think that's why we do quite well.
Tottenham qualified, man. Tottenham finished 6th.
4th or something.
Oh, well, if Tottenham are finishing 4th in this thing, come on, that's all right.
Yeah, but a lot of that is
The opposition.
It's
The opposition. And we've been lucky there, though, haven't we? Let's be fair. You know what I mean?
This is why, like, when people say, "Oh, like it's."
We've been lucky. We've played Barcelona. We've played PSG.
I think we had the 4th hardest.
No, I'm with you there. I'm with you there. Them 2 games we lost against Barcelona. It's fine, by the way. It's fine. But people lean on the Champions League form as if like we've been amazing, we're unbelievable in the Champions League. But then when you really dig deep, I'm not sure any of them finish in the top half. I don't think in our Premier League. I don't think PSV probably do. Don't think Bilbao do. And I might be wrong here, but I'm just saying.
I think you're right. I think
Christ, we kind of finished in the top half of the Premier League. But you know what I'm saying?
Well, there you go. You've just summed it up yourself.
Marseille have sacked their manager, haven't they, since we played them?
Yes, true.
He's gone out deserved because they've got a hiding off PSG in the league, 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I like Benfica. I've obviously had that big thing fallout with Real Madrid because of the carry on there. And
ironically, the ones that you would maybe say are a decent team, we haven't won. We didn't beat any of them. And I'm not expecting to be PSG away, but we didn't. Marseille away, we didn't beat them.
Yeah.
Barcelona, we didn't beat them. So the ones that you would expect are
Leverkusen
decent, we didn't win. Or and the ones that you should beat, we probably did. We did beat them because I'm expecting to beat Unions Club. I'm expecting to beat.
Well, I think it just goes back to what you're saying about paper and all cracks, and I think that's exactly what the Champions League run has done.
Gordon scored 10 and 11 games, highest Champions League player of all time, scores every single game. He can't even hit a ball door in the Premier League. In one Premier League win in 19. It's Premier League games, isn't it?
Something like 19.
I'm sure it's one in 19
times we've started them and we've won once, I think.
Surprised it's that many.
And that'll be because obviously
Tottenham, I guess.
that can't be right because obviously if you were thinking all competitions, we've done it in the Champions League, haven't we?
We've done the Cup, Tottenham in the league.
Exactly.
So
I might be completely wrong with that stat, but I'm sure
I read it as well. That could be a Deka
I'll be
stat.
wrong for you. Have you read it?
Yeah,
as
I'm
well?
sure I read it.
19 does seem like
Sounds a lot.
There's been a fair few this season. What do you think about those?
Well, Liverpool at
Start the
home in
season
the
like
league. You played before.
Until you got
I
sent
mean,
off.
it's probably a
Yeah.
handful last season, but 19 just seems
I can't remember any last season.
high.
See, there's
definitely
certain
was.
players,
There must have been some I can't remember any.
I wish so.
We went Wilson and Isaac were both out.
I
weren't
will.
playing up.
I don't want to make excuses. I don't. But Christ, I wish we had Tino right back. Christ, I wish Shea was available to give Chow a rest. Wish Bruno was back in there. Like there is players that we're missing, that
Botman
almost irreplaceable for you now. Trippier, bless him, and he gets hit every week. But he's about 45, and he's playing 9 games in a row, man.
Right now that you've just sparked, how fucking bad were our set pieces at the weekend?
Man. Them
Yeah.
three corners.
Jesus Christ,
3 in a row hit the first
man.
one.
No.
If you cannot cross a ball,
That was it.
Jesus.
There was 3 corners I counted in a row with 3
There
different
was,
takers.
yeah.
So the first two, it's Tonali takes the first one,
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
man. Trippier takes the second one. Alanga kicks
Alanga.
out for a goal kick.
Right now, I need. Now,
Honestly,
I
It
was.
hits the first man, but it's gone out of play.
I
we
was
have to-
screaming on the third one when I seen Alanga trotting over. You got Lewis Hall there, man. Lewis Hall on an in-swinging corner.
Yeah.
It'll be absolutely fine for you, lads. And they're trotting Alanga over there.
I don't understand how at any given
the thing
time,
is, if we send him up, we've got anybody that can stand on the halfway line to chase a break.
Alanga can.
at any given
I was
time,
thinking-
I would fancy any one of us four to put a corner near enough on a penalty spot.
Aye.
Well,
It's
You've
mad
just
that
gotta-
it's you know what they're trying to whip it in, but it's
They're trying to do what Everton done for their first goal.
yeah.
That's
Well, it's
what
an
they did.
out-swinging corner, which I'm not a fan of anyway. But listen, man.
Which is fine if you've
Pre-
got players
Premier-
that are going to come and attack the ball.
Well, it is. But Premier League standard players, right? We all get frustrated when they hit the first man, but it was 3 off the bounce. 3 different individuals trying
Quick
to.
succession.
Jesus Lord.
Oh, that was in like 5-10 minutes spell. It was really quick.
That's
It's either,
unbelievable.
or either hitting the first man or Bruno's having a shot.
Particularly against a
Aye,
team that
aye.
have got 2 very good headers of the ball
Yeah,
standing in the middle of
Tarkovsky and
the-
Branthwaite.
Well, I said
That's really the centre
I
half.
said that Mark in the second half. I went, just look at the size of them, and we're throwing the ball in.
Yeah.
I think,
Thing is,
to be
those
fair,
sizes-
I think maybe that's why they didn't do in-swinging corners, if I'm honest. I was screaming for Hall to go over there because we had hit the first man on the first 2. And I thought Hall will be able to ping a lovely ball in.
Well, you just
And
look
he
at the
trots him.
Chelsea Arsenal game yesterday. You put it into that position, and it might not come off one of your
it's
heads,
chaos,
but
isn't it?
it'll,
It's just
you know,
chaos,
it's
Every
two-
game's like
two
that,
on goal.
man.
Thing is,
yesterday, and
Arsenal are out to basically wrestle in the box, aren't they? So
Declan Rice, how that wasn't a penalty yesterday, man.
oh,
Blew
it's
my mind.
100% was like
Arsenal
You can't say that.
they're just allowed to do it. I know, look
Like
at that,
that's
dead
me.
hubby.
That's my
I'm not saying no, mate. I'm not saying it.
I
God, I hope it pops.
want to end the Instagram.
I don't know.
section
I
on
need.
this.
I cannot understand how anyone would want City to win it, man. I can't understand.
What, ahead of
that.
Arteta?
I'd
Yeah,
rather anybody win it except
They're a
Arteta.
proper
I don't
fraud,
think it's
cheating
Arsenal.
club,
I
man.
think it's Arteta. Like, that's the reason
Uh,
why.
Arteta's
that's
just
just
very
Arteta for me, like,
dislikable.
yeah.
One human should never, unless it's Hitler, should never get you under your skin that much.
All the
He
carry
doesn't.
on.
I think it's funny.
Well, he does. He does, clearly.
No, no,
You don't have a
getting under my skin. I just don't want him to win the league. I didn't want Gerrard to win the league either. But Liverpool.
Honestly, I didn't like Liverpool, but Man City are just they're not even a real club to me. They're a fraud club. They're cheats. I cannot understand how
because they're
anyone.
owned by a Middle Eastern state.
Allegedly.
No, they are though, right? 115 charges still
They're
not
not found
happening.
guilty yet, so it's
Nah, mate,
allegedly.
come on, yeah.
Just in case the lawyers are
Nah,
watching.
fake. They're totally. I just hate them. I really don't like City at all.
We could also talk about Arsenal feeling the play.
And we
like they shouldn't have done.
constantly,
We're going
bloody,
on so long, but we'll
we
move on
constantly
from that.
bloody.
Thomas Partey, of
Yeah,
course.
we'll move away from that.
I can't get involved in that one.
This is from Tom_Mattinson that says, are we keeping aging players, declining players, or injury-prone players for too long?
100%. We're very I've said this for years. Isaac Hayden, Besty loves him. So sentimental about average people, man. And like you've got,
we did try to get rid of him for 3 or 4 seasons.
Nah,
We
we're,
went along the whole of the
mate, we're
AFL,
trotting him
basically.
out for years, man. We're always Pope, for example, is another one. Like, no offense to the guy, right? But people always judge like what happened 4 and 5 years ago, 200 games ago, or whatever it is. They're going, he was great then. Of course he was. Trippier was. But there has to come a point where you go, do you know what it is? Now, in fairness on the keeper situation, I know I threw Pope there. They did try for Trafford, right?
I think the drop off of Pope's been pretty sharp as well. Like,
It's been huge. It's been humongous.
but I think the defense is the one, like where you've got Trippier. You can theoretically play a back four defensively. Trippier, Shea, Burn, and until January. Until January, Lascelles combine AJ about 130.
200-year-old.
Aye.
If you combine them, what?
And that's you're gonna have. It's got to have the problem is that the leadership group, whatever. You've got to have experienced players. You can't just play like loads of kids at the same. But then, if you look, Livermore, Hall, Botman, Chow would probably be the strongest four in my mind. Not in that order, which is the way it came to mind.
It's like the Newcastle team sheet.
It kind of is a bit high. So Livermore right back, Chow right centre half, Botman left, Hall left back would be my strongest. Now, I think that's probably one of the better defences in the league. If they're all fit, if they're all playing at Botman, there's a question mark. So I don't know how good he is now because he's the injuries he's had.
It goes the injury.
And he's been
question, doesn't it?
Great at times when he played this season. He's been a bit rubbish at times this season as well when he's played. Like so, it's hard to kind of get a gauge.
I think you can say that of Malik Chow as well. To be fair,
yeah, I think that's true. I'm Chow. I love Chow.
That's down to
he's a bit rash.
Amount of games and regularity that they're playing. That there would be mental and physical exhaustion in there.
Absolutely. But it's what's beyond that. Like I say, that first choice centre halves, there's only I think like all under 25 off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Tino and Hall certainly, Chow, Botman might be 26, 27 now. But then behind that, Dan Burns 33, 34, Trippier's about the same. Emil Kraft's just dropped off the face of the planet.
Should have strengthened right back. I'm going to say that.
Then
free transfer.
Behind that,
injured. I think he's just out
yeah, I think he's gone. I think he's.
Yeah, he's not. I think there's been a big fallout behind the scenes.
Kraft. Yeah, between the lines.
No, I don't think he is. No.
But then behind that, you've got Leo Shahan and Murphy, who are like kids. Basically, although Shahar looked quite good when he came on, against Karabag. I know it's Karabag and there's caveats to apply. But some nice little touches, I thought.
Pitched 2 minutes though, wasn't he?
But not some nice little touches.
Really good reflection.
Well, I thought like Murphy struggled. I thought
there's a good question, from Callum, and it says from that Everton game, finding out that Dan Burns' ribs are not 100% right. There was a moment early doors where he goes in for a challenge and he comes back like wincing, like he's holding his side, and I'm thinking, that doesn't look good. That like
when Bernardo Silva's maybe he's loosened something.
I think. Do you know what it is with Burn? I think we are all in agreement. We love Burn. Of course we do. Like what his what we would argue say is a stopgap really as a player coming in. He's done fantastically well. He really, really has. But I'm seeing him run around in circles a lot. That's what I'm saying. He's struggling to keep up with the pace.
He really is.
He always has done.
I hate to say it, but
no, I think he's dealt with it pretty well. I think he doesn't get enough credit. I don't think for how good a footballer he is. He's not just a big, strong, daft lad. He's actually a good footballer as well.
I agree.
But the legs are going, and we saw it when he was playing. I know he was playing fullback earlier in the season. There was talk of how much weight he'd put on to play centre half again, because obviously he played left back a lot. The last Champions League season, I think it was. Went back in the middle last season when Hall was kind of getting his football, but he does look slower now, and a bit, I don't want to say careless because I don't want to come. I love Dan Burn as well, but it's one of those ones where you'd hope that next season you'd had maybe it's the four I mentioned. If Tino stays, if Lewis Hall stays, I think Trippier probably goes in the summer.
Has to.
Bad looks of things. I think Kraft probably goes in the summer. So defensively, we need a bit of an overhaul. I think maybe it's not the first team, but beneath that surface, that level, that kind of subs. Right back, we've got Tino who might go, Trippier might go, Shahar is 17, 18-year-old, something like that. Kraft's probably going to go as well. Is he? He's been around for a while.
With Tino, you know he's going to get injured. You just absolutely guarantee he's going to get
missed a lot of football this season.
And we rely on him so much. The amount of ground he covers, he's going to get hurt. Like, it just is. So we definitely need to have a backup there without doubt. But back to Burn, he used to get found out for his pace at left back for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
I'm finding now even at centre half he's starting to get found out for pace. And I do love Burn, and I don't want to knock.
I think Burn will be a great player next season for these sort of moments where you need to try and swap things around for to come in and do a job, because we know for fine when he can do a job. I just think the more we're seeing him play game after game after game, You can't just see his legs. Are
Well, the
struggling, man.
problem
Problem
is
is you have to play him game after game
Yeah, we
after
do.
game
Yeah,
no, I
because
know,
of the
I know, I know.
situation that we found ourselves in.
Often finds himself quite high up the pitch as well.
He
Well,
just goes on the
Co-
one,
be-
doesn't he?
because our style of play, as I keep mentioning, I keep saying the game of basketball, it ain't going to suit someone like him. Like,
No.
it's just not, because we are absolutely when we're trying to. Sometimes we are quite gung ho in these moments, and that's how we're getting done on the break because you've got Trippier who's 100 and you've got Burn who can't run.
Especially when you're hitting the first man from a corner and your centre backs are in the
Yeah.
We
box.
don't help ourselves.
We
You
don't
need
do
to
it
have
in
legs.
certain moments.
No,
we don't.
I'm not.
I wanted to mention any years listening to Geordie Journos.
No.
All right. So today I watched the Everton reaction. I
I think nothing worse than to watch that.
Oh, well, that's fine. Am I allowed to mention this on
It's
here?
never appealed to me like that.
Am I allowed to mention this on here?
No, you can mention
Oh,
whoever you
well,
want.
I, do you know what? I was getting a vibe here that I shouldn't
No,
have
you can mention whoever you
Who
want.
was it?
I'm
Who was
hopeless
the
with
Geordie
names,
Journals?
I can't remember. One's off the Gazette.
Them ones off.
Oh, is it
from
Miles
South Shields.
Startford?
No, he hasn't worked for them. For
No,
years.
not Miles. No.
Miles away him.
Miles, all right.
Anyway,
Yeah?
there's one,
Miles away.
Miles away. Yeah. So anyway, one of the lads on there was
A knobhead.
he's very vocal. He's quite negative at times, but sometimes I think he's quite honest. But anyway, he kind of lost it really on this video and said, "I'm going to say some things here that I shouldn't probably say." And one thing he said was about Trafford that literally was on planes, on trains, going out for meals and stuff with people saying, "I've signed for Newcastle."
Yeah, we're all in that,
Like,
yeah.
It was kind
To,
of
to that type of stage, and obviously they didn't get done, which I thought was quite interesting. The other one was in players' contracts. He was saying that new training ground is in there, like as in, like it's in writing that it's going to happen, but it hasn't happened yet. Like the problem is it's in the contract, but it should have happened ages ago, and they're not happy about that. Craig Hope also covered this, and he also said there's one player who is absolutely categorically said he's off because he wants to go to a London club. It's a huge player for him, but he didn't say who it was, and I'm wondering, do you know who that is?
No,
Because he didn't say it.
Once
You could see the other two lads were like, Jesus Christ. You could see their faces like, you should not be saying this. Like,
It could be anybody, to be fair.
I was thinking maybe Tonali. Like,
I would have. I mean,
Or
I
Gordon, or
said
Gordon.
the other week.
I'm thinking
I
I'm
would have
thinking
thought.
Lewis Hall.
oh Jesus, right, okay.
So, nah.
I was thinking more Gordon than Tonali.
Tonali would be my one of
that's
the
where
big
mine-
ones.
That's an obvious choice.
Yeah.
But
Or-
I mean,
mine-
Willock so
wanted to go
categorically.
back down there.
No, he
you're
said,
not going to get a reaction of somebody saying
but
Willock,
he
are
said
you?
huge. He said like such an important player is categorically said he wants off and he wants to go to London.
Yeah.
I was thinking, fuck, what was that then?
Tonali.
And
I think it's pretty
Yeah.
standard. That's gotta be
sat here and said
standard,
about
And this is what I mean by I totally agree with everything you said, Besty, in regards to the chess pieces that we need to buy. Goodness me, man! If you lose someone like Tonali, how are you going to replace that?
Well,
How are you going to replace?
You can't replace Tonali.
Yeah,
Not
it's
like for
just-
like. There's not a
Yeah.
player.
No, it's
There's
real
not a player
problem.
gonna give you
say
what he
that,
gives you.
but there's plenty of people on Twitter that would disagree and say, yeah, get him sold. He's terrible.
But they're
shocking
wrong.
and-
Listen, he had a poor run of form, right? We all agree that he
I don't think
didn't
was
quite.
poor. It
Nah,
wasn't great.
But he
it
wasn't Sandro, was he?
Yeah, he wasn't in
Yeah.
the levels he did last
I
year.
think-
Because his head has been turned.
He's like standards that high.
Yeah.
He was a bit loose every now and then, but I don't think he'd.
Can you imagine him though in a real team?
I imagine him in a Real team.
Goodness me, man.
In a real team.
No, no
Yeah,
offense
yeah.
to us, but
A competitive team.
near
yeah,
Willock
yeah,
to the world
yeah.
and that, man. I mean, I'm on about good teams.
He's brilliant. Sandro,
He'd be unbelievable.
he could be in any. I remember earlier in the season saying he could be in any first team in the country in Europe, and then I saw Barcelona playing Saint. I thought, well, he's not that good.
Aye. I am going
Well,
to throw
he's-
one team in here now, but I was imagine them had Rice, Tonali, and Zubimendi in midfield. Or Eze, Rice, and Tonali. It's a point in turning up. Literally, how good. That's. But anyway, let's hope he
there's
doesn't go in.
most teams in the Premier League. Him and Bruno probably would walk straight into.
He mentioned Bruno actually the same line.
Bruno, after what he can run,
He just said Bruno is so bought into
Yeah,
us.
he's
Like he
invested,
is.
yeah.
It's totally the opposite. Whereas he was promised these things, but it's fine. It's not fine. That's nothing. But he's okay with that because he is one of us.
he's
Yeah.
one.
Whereas the
yeah.
rest he sacks, and you unfortunately Tonali. I think Gordon. I think he could be.
I
up
could
and
imagine Bruno in 15, 20 years' time doing like a bit like what Gutierrez kind of does.
Just do the
Where
talking.
he's like an ambassador at times. He comes back
Yeah.
over and does bits and bobs.
The only way you lose Bruno if Real Madrid come in. I mean, literally someone. If Liverpool or someone, he's not gone anywhere. But if Real, someone like that comes in, we're in trouble then because I think he has to go. But I don't think them are. By the way, I'm just saying it had to be someone like that. I think.
Just back to that question a little bit, though. I think I don't always think that it's us wanting to keep a hold of older players and stuff like that. I think there's also an element of that we can't get rid of them because we literally had to let ourselves go on a free to get him out of the club in January. So and we've had it with some of the players that they said, well, we should have got rid of him.
Hayden,
I even seen
like the championship players, really.
they're on
Richie.
they're on high wages. They're in a contract.
Yeah.
People won't pay a transfer fee to get them. There's a balancing act between, cutting your losses and losing a player that could potentially give something at some point should you need them. In that as well. So I even seen a comment, because yet again it came up around Elliot Anderson and saying, "Oh well, there's no way we should have sold him. We're having to buy him back for 100 million in the summer. It's never going to happen." But we should, like saying that there was X amount of players that we should have sold before him. So, well, yeah, but nobody wanted to buy those players.
Yeah,
they wanted to buy
you can only sell
Anderson.
someone who's got value to somebody else.
Exactly. So it's not just always the answer of that, well, we're not wanting to sell them, because I always say this, it's how's keeping a hold of his favourites. He doesn't want to let his favourites go. There's a bit in that, because it's players that he can rely on and he trusts and wants them around, maybe the leadership bit that you say as well. But equally, to let them go, there's got to be a deal there to allow it to happen.
If anybody's got any questions that's watching live tonight, get them through as quick as possible, but before we'll call it time on it. There's one here from Ian, however you want it. That says, do you think Howe knows his best team? It's March, and I'm not convinced he does.
His team selections prove he doesn't. Prove he doesn't.
I don't know. I think he might know his best team, but he might not be able to play his best team.
Oh, well, that's different. But I think because obviously Tino would start at a trip, yeah. So I get what you're saying there.
Yeah.
But I think from game to game, I'm unsure he knows who to start up front, for example. Because he's been playing Voltameda, he's been playing.
But you don't think that some of that's also game management in who you're playing against, trying to think, well, I've got this game,
and I'm all for that.
And stuff
I'm
like that.
all for that.
It's balancing and using the squad that you've got available.
When you get it right,
what we've just seen, we've had the discussion about Barnes not playing.
Yeah, no, get that. I get that. So
it's difficult. It's difficult because we did go through a run recently where House had to physically come out and go, some of these players need to stand up and be counted for and look at themselves in the mirror and blah blah blah. So I think when he says comments like that, even he's probably scratching his head going, actually, I've just started that team. I believe at this moment in time that is our best team.
Yeah.
And they've went and done that performance to the point where he has to come out and he also had to say he had to do better, but he's called the players out. So he probably doesn't really know who his best team is. Probably, you know what I mean? Like it's tough, isn't it? Because Alanga never got a game for love nor money for a long time.
True.
He's trotting Murphy out who couldn't even out. And then he's now playing Alanga a little bit more, which terrible on Saturday. I am glad he's on.
There was a question that came through on Instagram. I can't remember who said it, but basically referred to, has Eddie Howe hit the point where Poch hit at Spurs?
No, I don't think so.
Beginning of the end.
I don't think we'll ever see.
I mean, Spurs would quite happily sit now and take Poch back in, given the situation that they found themselves in.
But that's not the question, is it? That's not the question. The question is what was it again?
Has Eddie Howe hit the stage that Poch hit with
So
Spurs?
can he go
take them as far as he possibly can?
Can he take one further than what he has? Achieve more than what he's already done?
I think the problem with Poch at Spurs wasn't necessarily that he'd taken that far, was that the players just it just stopped working. The players got to a certain point where it wasn't fresh anymore. It was the same players. It was a bit stale. I don't think we are there. I think there's.
I don't think it's stale.
No.
God, I almost thought you were talking about us for a second. You're saying the players used to be stale.
I don't think it's stale. I just think it's not working. I think he needs to find a different way of making it work. I think the players are playing for him. They're just not playing very well.
Yeah,
they've shown
that in the last, obviously, bar the weekend.
It's not that
they've shown it in that run of games before that.
Can we not throw a caveat with those 3 games? So this is what I'm keeping on about these 3 games. Like I mentioned at the start, Spurs are shit.
They are
shit.
Right.
If we had lost that, fuck me. Like, yes, we record was horrendous, but Jesus Christ, Spurs are shit. Villa, yes, we played well, but 10 men. Like, it was 10 men. And so you should be beating the game. Winning team with 10 men. And fucking 4 man.
Should have been 9
in the
men.
Champions League.
Should be, yeah.
So there's your 3 games.
I will say I do. It's hard because
Champions League who drew with Chelsea earlier in the season.
But the fucking
But no, but the drew with Chelsea, a big Frankfurt, they beat Benfica. They're there to be. I mean, we should have beaten them by the score that we've beaten them by. We've hammered them,
Besty
especially in the
just
first set.
literally sat at talking about the Champions League teams being pretty shit.
Yeah,
like
but
pretty shit.
Even the Carabao game in midweek, we went 2 goals up within the first 2 minutes.
Still going to see 2.
And then it went into a pre-season friendly because had we have kept the levels going,
Of course, it's never going to. I
been even.
No, but
more.
I'm not talking about that. Like, of course not. But we're talking about the opposition. Like,
But
if we hadn't got those results, fuck me, no, that's horrendous.
But fair enough. If we snuck past Karabakh 1-0 at their place, we're beating 6-1.
Oh,
I know they're not a very good winner, but they were still good enough to be at that point in the Champions League.
Besty looked like we were playing for them, man.
No, we're beating.
Horrendous.
We must be the only club in the world where we can beat someone.
He doesn't want to give Eddie credit.
We can beat a team 6-1 away in the Champions League, 2,500 miles from home, and they're going, but that shit. But they were good enough to be in the last 24 of the Champions League.
Yeah.
So by that metric, they're better than Marseille, as good as Benfica, as good as Newcastle, as good as Real Madrid, as good as PSG. Because that's the level they're at. I'm not saying
that's not how it works, though, is it?
Well, yeah,
it's not how it works.
People are saying, "Well, Wolves are shit." They've just went and beat Villa at the weekend. It's games. What happens?
It's individual games because Villa have overperformed for a while, and it's kind of our thought. We beat Villa in the cup 3-4 weeks ago, whatever it was, a bit less actually maybe. But now Villa's run since then makes me think, maybe it's just shite and we played them at a good time. And it's weird how your kind of mind does that. West Ham,
mine does that.
West Ham beat with,
and then West Ham had a very good performance against us, and that's teed them up with a nice run.
They went on a bit of a run, and the mind then goes, I wonder if West Ham aren't quite as bad as I thought.
And like Spurs have only won once, I think once, and they haven't won yet. They're the only team that hasn't won yet.
Spurs have been.
Spurs are. They really have.
But then, I mean, you started off with Man United before.
No, but we literally just sat saying, Karabakh must be all right because they've got the last 16. So fucking Spurs.
That's
shit.
I don't listen. I don't want to start knocking wins.
You're just downplaying the fact that
I don't want to do that.
We've put a run of wins together. That's what you're downplaying and trying to make excuses of. We have to win those games. Of course we do.
But even then, like I say, we didn't beat Karabakh 1-0. We beat them 6-1. Yeah. And we stopped playing the second half. We could have,
we stopped playing after 10 minutes.
I agree, but that's not going to keep his job, though. Like,
no,
he's not going to be dying out on Karabakh.
But you can't.
You know what I mean?
It's not.
No, I'm just saying you can't dismiss it.
No,
just
I'm not
it's
either.
only that.
But I need to go back to the question. What was the question? The question was. The question was. I don't know how. No. I don't know how we're getting here. By the way, the question was: has Eddie Howe will he reach the heights? Now, my answer to that is, I can't see us getting Champions League football and winning a trophy in a season again. There you go. So the answer is no. Then
I think,
and that's not just on. That's not how we're going to lose Tonali. We'll probably lose Gordon. I'm still not convinced on the 100 million we've spunked on them up front. Not convinced on the 60 million we've spunked on my winger. Honestly,
I can guarantee if we win that game on Saturday, this conversation wouldn't be happening.
We're not winning the FA Cup.
Exactly.
I'll bet you whatever you want to bet. We will not win the FA Cup and we'll not win the Champions
League. I'm not saying we will.
Mean, given that we've never
but
won
to say that we won't win it again.
Well, I don't know what's so bad about
that. Like.
We've had the most successful season we've ever had since ever, literally ever, was top 4 or was fifth one. Was it 5th or top 4?
5th.
It's okay, but Champions League football and win the trophy. Will we reach them heights again? That's the question, right? That isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think that's quite the question.
Do you think we will? Do you think we will?
I'm not saying we'll do it this season. I'm saying
we've got the ability to do it. That's not the question.
No, I think the question. The question is basically: do you think he's hit the ceiling?
That's what it is. It has it.
It sounds negative.
The way I heard it was other players still playing for him.
I'm just judging what the question is. The question is can Howe do what he's done again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
he's proven he can
do
it.
Eat this table.
I don't think he'll do it this season, but he could. I think next season he could.
We'll get you a big tub of garlic if you're going to eat the table.
Hey, I think a garlic crack on.
We could finish 5th and win the League Cup again next season.
I'm not convinced. Sorry.
It's mad.
It took with all 60 years, whatever. That was unbelievable that season, you know. That was unbelievable that season, and I just don't think the rules financially. I just don't think we can do it again.
Besty had a great
something
point
has to change.
He said, "Just as well, we just got Champions League because we're almost through."
We finished 5th, and that Everton game with Joe.
Everton game, Jesus, yeah.
But
we could have been sitting.
Did we lose that one?
We could have lost that one. We could have been sitting in the Europa League now.
Martinez chucked it away.
You would have thought we would have. I would hazard a guess that we'd go a long way in the Europa League compared to Champions League.
Why? We've just sat here and said Eddie Howe can't get the best out of his team when we've got no training.
No, I think we might do in the Europa League, but again, you have to look at it's the financial impact, isn't it?
Yeah.
They want to be in the Champions League.
I think Europa League, you're not as obliged to play as strong as players. If we're playing Barcelona, Real PSG who played Leverkusen away, even like Benfica,
But how would though? He played Karabag. He played the strongest 11 imaginable. We're 6-1 up.
But I think you're playing like I'm trying to think who would be in the Europa League. Like, I mean, some of the.
Well, I think you're saying that the Champions League opposition isn't strong enough for your liking. The Europa League's even worse than that. So that's why I'm saying we'd have a much stronger opportunity to progress.
We've got more for beating Karabag than we'll do for winning the Europa League.
100%, and that's why it's important.
Where do you think Karabag would finish in the Premier League?
It's money.
Dead bottom.
Top 5, I think.
No, actually, because as bad as it looked with at times, even though we hammered them, they played some nice football, particularly later on in the second half. There was a lot of individual errors and stuff like that. But over the course of a season, you'd be.
They did play some canny stuff, but they would be bottom.
I think they're better than Burnley. Like they're better than Wolves at the start of this season.
I don't think they are.
Dog shit. And yes, teams have moments and they have the win games against better opposition. It happens. That's just what football is.
Oh,
like fuck me, the horrendous.
Yeah. Oh, listen, and the one thing, the Besty's point though is that we all, were hoping we would sort of take them to the sword, if you like, or put them to the sword, and we did, and that was what was pleasing. Everyone's saying, "Well, you're only playing these," and my God, it was 5-0 at half time. That was amazing.
Any time you win by 5 goals away from home in competitive football, it's something to celebrate. Like to write obviously have that shit. Well, that's as may be, but not every team's done it. Chelsea didn't do it when they played them there. They'd scored 2 goals in every Champions League game up until we played them. St James's. Every home game they played in Champions League this season, up until we turned up, they'd scored at least twice. Yeah.
No, listen, I'm not taking it. I'm not just.
None of that matters
against fellow farmers.
Because it's only Karabag. They're all farmers.
They do 2-2
None
with
of
Chelsea.
that matters whatsoever.
But just like have these games.
I think that's why I'm asking.
But no, it's man. I was saying earlier. I find it incredible.
You
like we beat Man
City
earlier on
completely disregarding everything that and just writing it off. It's like, well, of course it should be.
It should be. If we had lost against Karabag, what's our reaction going to be?
He'd think it's alright, him.
If we had lost,
I reckon you'd be alright with it.
I wouldn't be.
You wouldn't.
I thought it was going to be tight over there. Like,
yes,
I didn't. It was only. I don't
just expect us to turn up for a game and adjust everything to go to plan and win it, regardless of who we're playing.
Really, Karabag.
I thought.
Have you just listened to anything he's just said about?
And if we had won a Karabag in the league and even got a draw, I'd be questioning them then as well.
I don't think I would have been like.
But
I didn't know before the game started. I didn't know what to expect. I haven't watched them play really. I'd seen that stats, but the results they've got, the fact that they finished 20.
I just find it really arrogant that like
I agree.
You can think like
well,
that. I understand the. You having that hope and expectation that we will go and do that. I had the same, but you've always got to tinge that with the fact of that. Well, actually, we're going into the unknown, playing against the team. We've travelled 11 hours to get there.
They didn't travel 11 fucking hours.
Yes, they have.
They travelled 11 hours to get to get the megabus. It's an 11-hour flight.
Where do you think this country is?
It's not. You think it's an 11-hour flight?
I don't think it's 11 hours.
I think it's 10, maybe 10 and a half.
Nickel got there in 11 hours. He took 3 flights.
You went missing as well.
I did.
It's fucking 5
and also, you did see their flights, so it wasn't here. Them were.
It's more than 5 hours.
They were lying down in beds. No, it's
5 hours. Just to Turkey.
I don't think it's 11
anyway,
hours.
Listen. I don't want to go down this route. But Karabag,
I do.
Well, one, and it's great. It's fantastic, but that doesn't Saturday performance. You can't just be leaning back on Karabag going, because we beat them, everything's fine. I feel like this Karabag games all of a sudden
it's got absolutely nothing to do with this game.
It feels like it.
All we're saying is that this all started because we mentioned the fact that we'd won with the 3 games previous, and it was like, well, of course we did because we should.
We should be beating them, though. I don't understand that. I don't understand that.
One team in that.
And that's all we're talking about for some reason.
No Spurs. I'm putting Spurs.
But even he agrees with you. Even he agrees with you on that one. He said, they are shite. We've got no players.
Well, I'm not sure.
Haven't won a game this year.
How we can go from saying Karabag would finish dead bottom of the Premier League to then going, well, we're expecting to beat Spurs.
He's right there. He is right there.
And we went to Wolves and drew with Wolves and we said it was fucking horrendous.
Yeah. You're agreeing that Spurs should be beating them because of shite, but then Karabag would finish dead bottom.
Well,
The would
I'm
finish
not
dead
saying
bottom.
we should be beating them, but I'd expect
Expect.
them to because they're shit.
Because they're shit. There was a bit.
A bit too slow,
There was
that.
a bit of shit.
little bit shit.
But,
Have you got anything to add before we end it?
I can't remember. I did have something, but my mind's just frazzled, to be honest.
Do you know what's really funny?
Oh,
In the
get your
comments,
money on Cesco,
somebody's
by the way.
just started watching it
Oh, God.
and they're kicking off about Nick Pope.
Well, if that had just joined, they must have thought this was the carrier bag episode, like from weeks ago.
Wait till you get to this point, mate. Jesus.
Cesco, tomorrow. Sorry, Wednesday, apologise.
He's playing well, isn't he? He's
I know what's coming there.
doing
You
a
know
business,
what's
isn't
coming.
he?
He's turned it
They've
around.
got some wonderful players, by the way. Cunha and Mbremo really could cause problems. However, though,
Our potential front
I'll
three
try
that
and-
we're trying for.
I'll try and be positive, like Mark. It's a nighttime game, and we normally do get up for the. It's
Yeah, that was fair against Man U.
Saturday 3 o'clock, man. It's Saturday 3 o'clock, which is day 1 a day. Well, I always seem to struggle at the more less glamorous, your Bournemouth or your Evertons, or no disrespect, Mark, to these teams, but when it's a Man United at home or a Bars or whatever it may be, we do try and normally
He's
get
got a
up
good
for them,
record
so.
against Man U at home.
I didn't fancy it at all, but obviously, of course, I hope I'm wrong, of course.
There has been a match preview which went out just before this show was live at 6:30. So go back and listen to that. But what's your prediction? What's your bestie for Wednesday night?
I think we'll lose. I think we'll lose.
Mark, this is going to be a full house.
I think
Of course you do.
they're gettable.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
think even as they've been getting results recently, but I don't think they've been brilliant, untouchable.
Mate, they stuck 3 past Arsenal. I don't think they've ever conceded 3 goals. Them did it. And I haven't lost it in a Carrick, have they? I could be wrong.
You
there.
look
I
at
think they might
the
have done it earlier on. Yeah, I
the
can't
game at
remember.
the
No, I don't think that. I think
I
they drew
don't know.
one.
They drew one, didn't they?
I think this could potentially be 7 Premier League games.
Wow.
Mm,
It's a terrible time to be playing them in terms of momentum.
Because
you know.
the fella should have shaved his head because they were winning.
was the
They
first
Oh, and they
game
drew
they
against
got
West Ham.
to
conceded
Ham, yeah.
later on and they
That's
drew
right.
that game, didn't
That's
they?
right, yeah. That's
Then
right.
they haven't lost the game, so that's the only one, which
Yeah,
has
so
been a
they've-
bit of a
I
blip.
think
I'm
they've
saying,
won
but
6 and
yeah,
drew.
yeah.
the-
Is that
drew the
third?
other one,
Yeah,
Third in the
third.
league, man.
yeah, they've done brilliant.
Because
there's-
dropped off Liverpool have been consistent.
So that just shows you how
What happens when he's second man?
Oh, they-
how,
Port-
the,
Porter-
how
Port-
tight
Oh, mate,
the league is.
He's just said 6 wins and a draw. Porter, Texas.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's tremendous. Like that.
You can't just say it's because they sacked their manager.
I'm just winding you up now.
What do
Well,
you
it
think?
is.
Certainly,
It is,
What do you
though,
think
isn't
it is then?
It certainly,
Come on, Mark,
well,
what do you think it is?
certainly helped that the players have actually started to bother playing. For a start.
Because
Why have they
Get so
started
close, Mark.
Because
Come on, Mark. Why have
why
they
did the
started
players
playing?
stop playing?
Because the pricks.
No.
Yeah.
What's the sentence that we're looking for?
Come on.
Well, I'm not going to say because they changed their manager.
It
Sack
is.
the manager.
It is. Of course it
That
is.
is
I mean,
why.
there's more in that situation at that club than just changing the manager, fixing things.
So what else has
It'll-
changed
it'll
then? So
certainly
what else has
certainly
changed?
It'll certainly have helped.
In such a short space of time.
They
when
couldn't
we-
buy a win and they've
like,
won
there's
6
no,
wins.
there's no getting away from the fact that when we changed from Bruce to Howe,
that even when he was there, they
it
were still
changed, but
winning
it took a little
games.
bit of time. Amram was so wedded to the way he played football, and he was so inflexible.
It's absolutely had an impact on it, but you can't. It's not the sole reason.
It's the main reason.
So
by a
what
long-
is the other reason then? What is the other reason? If that's
It-
not the sole reason, what's the other
Because
reason?
someone like it.
And you
the
program
players,
seller
the
as
players
well?
that they were picking up, Wilcox and Ratcliffe and all that carry on, they weren't buying players to suit the system. So it's now Luke Shaw playing left wing back, and Dalot or whoever, and all of a sudden Carrick's come in, change the shape of the team a little bit, and start winning games. It's
It's the sole reason.
yeah.
I'm from the Man U fan.
Correlation
Not at all.
doesn't
It's-
necessarily imply causation. All that.
I mean, of course, the
but-
Man United fans going to say that because they hated the last manager.
No.
They've hated all of the managers before that. Yes, it's 100. There's a big part of it is the fact that he's came in, changed the way that they've played. The fact he's
So when
he's
we had
probably
Bruce,
got
we had Bruce, and then Howe came in, and then obviously we started to pick up a bit.
even that took a few weeks. I would say this is
That was
say
Howe,
it.
right?
How
Surely.
coming in was less of a you just put because we had a transfer window in the meantime with Bruno, Burn, Trippier,
Yeah.
etc. Where he has come in. I don't think they bought you one in January. I might
Then he
be
got
wrong.
COVID.
No, I'm talking about Carrick at Man U.
Oh, Carrick, sorry.
I don't think because the Amram
No,
was
that they
still
didn't buy anyone,
No,
did
didn't
they?
buy any.
Amram was
No.
still manager on Boxing Day when they beat were.
There's not many.
That's right, yeah.
So he came. No, there weren't many transfers in
Anybody that
January.
bought anybody in the
So the
January
squad
window
hasn't been
other than
overhauled.
Dave?
Like ours was. How
Aye, to be fair,
how would
maybe
Bruce
it was a
Slegton
bad.
say it?
Yeah, it was a bad.
we only started winning games really after we had
Aye.
that transfer window, won the Leeds.
Yeah.
Shelby Freak.
I was wrong with that point. Actually.
And that was kind of we had that. So there was still a buffer when Bruce left. We didn't win a game for a while. But how? was Burnley early December. I don't know what the kind of time frame is there exactly. Whereas this, Amram got sacked, Carrick came in and immediately.
Oh, it's unbelievable. But listen, we're not a Man United podcast, but
not an Arsenal one either.
I didn't mention Arsenal. You brought it up, not me. But no, it does worry us because we're catching them at a really bad time, and we kind of buy a win.
Everyone at a bad
we
time.
kind of buy a win at home.
Karabakh, apparently.
I think it's more the case everybody's catching us at a good time.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
I just a little bit concerned with the fans. The atmosphere on Saturday was a bit.
That was awful.
It was awful.
The
Yeah.
booing when Gordon went off, I thought was absolutely pathetic.
Yeah,
like, don't do that.
I'm just a bit worried.
Gordon didn't do that badly. He was at fault partially for the goal. He wasn't the reason he scored.
I've seen a lot of people say that Gordon has to come off. I've not seen anything to suggest that unless I've completely missed it.
I thought that was really distant. And if I was Gordon, I'd be gone in the summer. Like, if that's what the fans are like after you've won it. Well, he didn't play in the cup finals. He got sent off against Brighton, didn't he? But like,
I don't think he deserves to get booed off.
No. But if I was Gordon now, I'd be gone. Right, that's me. I'd phone it in the rest of the season and stick with your ass.
Call in sick.
I'd have been hopping mad going off the pitch there at full time. And then they all got booed off at full time, which I don't agree with booing the players off anyway.
He has a stat for you. So when Carrick took over, Newcastle were above.
We're not a Man United.
No, but this is an interesting one. Newcastle were above Man United, and now they're 15 points ahead of them.
They're going to agree run.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what happens when you put a run of results together.
Which, like we've done the last few seasons.
So
put a run
even
of results
to that point of where,
and why is that
where we are is that getting a couple of results on a bounce can catapult you up that table because it is so tight there.
And how was that run happened? Do you believe for Manchester United?
Because they won games,
Deka.
He will not.
Because it's not the only reason,
man.
It is.
Mark, you know what the mad thing is? This is probably the one instance in which it literally is the only reason. Like I say, our takeover had a transfer window.
Yeah, I was wrong.
All that. This was. It's been in the blink of an eye. They've got rid of Amram, got Carrick in, and I really hope that give him the job full time because I can see him going full Solskjaer. Having 100%. A rotten time afterwards.
Yeah, 100%.
But then it's a new manager bounce. He's someone who knows the club and all that, and that can be a big thing, for a short term thing. But Carrick is literally, if there's the reasons total 100%, he's probably 97% of the reasons that they've changed.
So he's not the whole percent.
Well, that's impossible to be. But
then that's what I'm saying. You're agreeing with us. Thanks. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.
I'm sure he does this on purpose.
I think so.
Just to finish it up, Woody, one of our members, has said, you lads need a bigger flag. Been sat watching Besty's legs for 90 minutes, and all I can think about now is a kebab.
Best in the world.
That's pretty because I had for a Turkish meal, my birthday the day, but I went out for that Sarai on Osborne Road.
Yeah.
Did you have the mixed platter?
Did I not? The pit of bread. I finished off. I took some home and finished me off.
Lovely,
for lunch today. It was lovely. I'm so oily. It's great.
I mean, there's no new there.
I haven't even driven a car. I've just laid down and slid
all the way.
Slid along Sunderland Road to get here.
Thanks everybody who has watched us live, or if you're watching this one or listening evening. As always, if you would just like the video on YouTube, become a subscriber. It costs you nothing to do that. If you do want to give an extra bit back, you can do so for as little as $2.99 a month by becoming a member. We'll see you next time. Watch us are doing. Ta-ra.